My name's Edyn. I'm a plus size yoga instructor, and today we're going to be doing a flow for flat feet. All you'll need is your mat and a blanket if you have tender knees. As always, these videos never have mid-roll ads, so if you appreciate my yoga practices being free, you can always buy me a coffee. My outfit is from Lululemon, and I will have it linked below. They've been a long-time supporter of the channel, so let's get started. If you have flat feet, this is a great yoga flow for you. It's also great if you have plantar fasciitis. If you stand up and you notice, oh man, I'm clenching my glutes, it may be a cause of your flat feet. So strengthening the arches of your feet can be really beneficial, and so can strengthening your core. So that's going to be our focus for this practice. We're going to start off with our feet about hip width distance apart, and we're just going to start with some gentle rocks. So rocking up onto your toes and then rocking back and bringing your toes off the mat. I'll turn sideways so you can see a little better. Rocking up and then coming up, bringing your toes all the way up, almost balancing back on your heels. We're just going to rock back and forth here, making sure that you're breathing, that you're not stressing out about it. Over time, having flat feet and relying on your glutes for support when you're standing can cause some postural issues. So doing this can really be helpful in the long term, especially as we age. A few more of these rocks here, making sure those toes come all the way up. Perfect. Now ground the feet, and we're going to work on lifting our toes off the mat. So all 10 toes, press your feet into your mat. Make sure that you feel support through all of your foot. So you feel some weight in your heels, you feel some weight on the outsides of your feet, you feel some weight on the balls of your feet, and then you're pressing your toes into the mat. So you're really fully anchored and grounded into the ground. From here, you're going to shift your weight back just slightly and pull all 10 toes up on the mat, off the mat. And when you do that, you'll see it's creating an arch in your foot. So we're going to do a few more rounds of that. Drop all 10 toes, pull all 10 toes off the mat. Your weight will automatically shift just a tiny bit, and that's okay. All 10 toes down, and lift all 10 toes off the mat. Perfect. All 10 toes down. And we're going to hold this for a little bit. All 10 toes off the mat for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, relax them down. Take just a second here, and all 10 toes come back off the mat for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All 10 toes back onto the mat. One more round. Up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Toes down. Shake out your feet if you need it. That can be a lot on you. If you have flat feet, working that arch can be really hard. Some other natural ways other than stretching is very natural, to strengthen the feet is using a rebounder. I have a Bellicon rebounder, and it's really good for strengthening the feet, and it's very low impact. I'm just doing some ankle circles here. You can do the same. And also walking on sand. If you're lucky enough to live near the water, the resistance of the sand is fantastic for strengthening the arches of your feet. And it doesn't take a long time, about 5 to 10 minutes per day rebounding and 5 to 10 minutes per day in the sand can really be beneficial for the tendons in your feet to naturally stretch them and strengthen them. Okay, we're coming back to the top of our mat, and I'm just going to turn diagonal. Hopefully you can see. I don't want to get too up close on my feet because it's just a little bit weird. So we're going to do something similar to what we just did, but we're alternating between our big toe and our other 4 toes. So first we're going to start by just lifting your big toe off the mat here and pressing your other 4 toes into the mat. So it's very active. You should feel your arches pulling up and a little stretch through your arch. Perfect. Toes down. And then one more round, big toes up, pressing our small toes into the ground. Perfect. Big toes down. Now we're going to do it for 10. Lift that big toe up. In 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, release that big toe just for a second, and big toes back up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let those big toes down, and now big toes pressing into the mat, and all 4 of your other toes are lifting up off the mat. This dexterity is really important. And release. Now that you know what that feels like, press the big toe into the mat, lift the 4 little toes off for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. Let them down. All right, pressing big toe into the mat. 4 little toes come up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Little toes come back down, and then back up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Instead of shaking this time, we're going to go back to those rocks. But this time, our focus is going to be bringing the heels inwards. So we're up and swiveling the heels in, almost like you're tapping your heels. Swiveling in. It's like a little V. See if you can see this way, how the heels are coming in. It's really shifting the weight to the ball of your foot. Perfect. And this time, lose the rock. Don't let your toes come off the ground, just straight up and in. Perfect. Up and in. Up and in. Up and in. Now we're going to come back to hip width distance apart if you floated further for some reason or closer in. And go ahead and start to shift your weight to the outside rim of your feet. Outside rim, and press your toes into the mat. And you'll feel that stretch in the arch of your foot. And from here, we're going to shift up from the outside brim up to the balls of your feet. Outside brim up to the balls. Here. And up. Taking this at your pace. Breathing. I know it doesn't feel great, especially if you have flat feet, but it's really important. We have 2 more here. Rocking on the brim of your foot and coming up. Brim. Last one. And up. Perfect. Go ahead and shake those feet out. I know this isn't the most glamorous version of stretching or yoga, but it's so important for longevity and your health as you age. So just keep with it. All right. So we're going to go ahead and come down to the ground. However you get there is up to you. And we're going to come into a half split. So we're on our knee. We're going to extend our leg out as far as it'll go and point your toe upwards. If you're like me and you have bendy knees, a little hypermobility, add a little bit of a micro bend into your knee. And then just go ahead and flex forward and feel that nice stretch through your calf. Perfect. And we're going to switch it up. Leg out as far as you can get it, half split. You may need to come down a little lower to feel that stretch in your calf, but make sure if you're hypermobile that you are giving yourself a micro bend in the knee, like I am. Perfect. Now we're going to come down to a tabletop position, all 4s, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Go ahead and drop the belly down to the ground for your cow pose. And press it up and out, really rounding through the spine. Nice cat-cow here. A little bit of ease before we move into some effort here. A little more effort. This is all effort, but a little more active effort. Big breath in. Press it out. Perfect. So here we're going to tuck all 10 toes under, and we're going to press up and just let your knees hover about an inch over the mat. This is called beast pose. It's great for your core and one of the most plus size friendly variations of a core movement. 3, 2, 1, and down. Working on the core really helps your muscles relearn when you're standing to take some of that pressure off of your glutes and shift it as you strengthen your feet to the arches and to the core to support your body weight. Take a breath here. And in 3, 2, 1, we press back up into our beast pose. For 3, 2, 1, and release. One more round of that core work here. I need to adjust my hands just a little bit, bringing them in a little. Take a breath here, and in 3, 2, 1, we lift. And we're here for 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. From here, go ahead and press up, keeping all 10 toes tucked under. And we're going to slowly lean back. And this is what we call fire pose. It's really great for the bottoms of your feet, of course, for your soles, for your arches. Great if you have plantar fasciitis. Just lean into that fire pose. Mine isn't feeling as fiery today. Probably because we did so much footwork already. Maybe a little bit more of a lean back for me. There we go. Just play with it until you feel that good stretch in the soles of your feet. And we're going to be here for 10, 9, 8, 7, keep breathing, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift up, bring some of that weight out of your feet. You can go ahead and pat on that a little bit. Come back down to your tabletop. Retuck those toes. And then we're just gonna rock a little bit from side to side. Perfect. And then untuck the toes. Press the tops of your feet into the mat. And lean back. This is going to give a nice stretch to the tops of the feet. So we've done a lot of work today. If you're like me and you have some hypermobility, so when you are stretching, your knees kind of bend back slightly, a better way to stretch out the calves might be a foam roller or a percussion gun. If you have either one of those, take a couple of minutes after this practice to stretch out your calves, because that's very beneficial, especially when you're working on the strength of your feet. You can also, like I said, use a percussion gun. That's really great as well. Or if you have a little tennis ball, you can roll that on the bottoms of your feet if you feel like they need a little bit more love throughout the day or throughout the week. Doing this practice regularly can be really wonderful. It doesn't have to be something that you turn on the video for. You can just kind of be mindful of them. If you're standing and you notice that you're clenching the glutes, lift up your toes off the ground. While you're cooking, lift up your toes off the ground. It'll help reinforce that arch if you have a flat foot or a collapsed arch, depending on your situation. It's just a really great practice to be mindful of what's happening in your body when you're standing. Am I clenching here? Why? And then correct from there. Beast mode's really lovely for this as well. It may not feel the best, but it's a really great core exercise, especially for plus size people, because it doesn't require you to be in a full plank pose, which is why it's my pose of choice a lot of the time. And yeah, just give yourself a couple of days, maybe a day to two in between doing all of these stretches together. Give your soles some time to rest. Thank you guys for joining me for this focused flow today. I hope that it was beneficial, and I hope in the long term you see benefits. As always, there are no ads in the middle of this video, so if you'd like to buy me a coffee, I'd totally love it as a donation for this yoga class. And as always, I'm not just your friendly YouTube yoga teacher. I'm a real life yoga teacher. So if you need any help, want to talk through any options or modifications, you can reach out to me on Instagram, DMs. That's one of the best ways to reach me. And I hope to flow again with you guys really soon. Have a good day. Bye.
In the morning, when you walk away, my heart drops to the floor. They said it would get easier, but I don't know who for. Days move faster now, I swear. I can feel them slip away.